hijrah is much more than just physical relocation. The Prophet ﷺ said, the true muhajir is one who leaves. And here is the divine promise. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, whoever gives something up for the sake of Allah, Allah will replace it with something better. It starts with two things: love. We've just started the new Islamic year, 1447. But 1447 years since what exactly? Well, in the early days of Islam, during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, people didn't mark time with numbers. They remembered years through moments. For example, the year the Prophet ﷺ was born is called the year of the elephant. There's also a year of the drought. There's a year of the treaty. When Umar radiallahu anhu became the Khalifa, they needed a system to keep track of dates. So Umar radiallahu anhu, he got his advisors together and they discussed. Some of them said that we should start the calendar when the Prophet ﷺ received revelation. And others said different things. But Umar radiallahu anhu, he said no. He said something powerful. He said the hijrah is what separated truth from falsehood. He wanted to start the Islamic calendar based on the hijrah. But what is the hijrah? Well, the word hijrah means migration. And yes, it was a migration. 5 years into prophethood, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ commanded the Muslims to migrate from Mecca to Abyssinia to flee persecution. And then 13 years after prophethood, the Prophet ﷺ and all of the companions, they all migrated from Mecca to Medina. This was a turning point in history. Hijrah is much more than just physical relocation though. The Prophet ﷺ said, al-muhajiru man hajara ma naha Allahu an. The true muhajir is one who leaves behind what Allah has forbidden. Hijrah is about transforming yourself, whether that be physically, in terms of location, or otherwise. It's about leaving behind what displeases Allah for what brings you closer to Him. And sometimes that's not easy. Sometimes that means leaving behind what you love and what you find comfortable. Sometimes it's walking away from a person, a habit, a lifestyle, something you love, something that feels like home. For the Prophet ﷺ, home was Mecca, and he loved Mecca. The Prophet ﷺ, one day he stood looking at Mecca, saying that by Allah, you're the most beloved of all of the land to Allah, and the most beloved land to me. Had I not been driven out, I would have never left you. But the Prophet ﷺ, he left because obeying Allah came before everything else. Ibrahim alayhi salam also had to leave his people for Allah's sake as well. He said to his people, Inni dhahibun ila rabbi sayahdeen. I'm going to my Lord, He will guide me. And here is the divine promise. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, Man taraka shay'an lillahi awwadahu Allahu khayran minh. Whoever gives something up for the sake of Allah, Allah will replace it with something better. Now, giving something up for Allah's sake, it starts with two things: love. You have to love obeying Allah more than you love that thing. And number two, you have to trust that Allah will give you better. So the only way you can make hijrah, whether it be a physical relocation or making hijrah from what displeases Allah, is if you love Allah Azza wa Jal and you love what pleases Him more than what you have right now, and that you trust that He will replace it with what is better. The Prophet ﷺ, he gave up Mecca, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him Medina. And eventually Allah gave him Mecca again. That's what happens when you give something up for the sake of Allah. You never ever lose. But hijrah isn't easy. Whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, or social, it's a test. It asks you to let go before you see what's waiting for you on the other side. So ask yourself, what's your Mecca? What do you need to walk away from? What do you need to leave behind? Because hijrah is not just a historical event that we are reminded of when we enter into this new year, but it's a personal one. If you guys have any other questions, then just type it below in the comment section and we'll address it in a future video, inshallah.